Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. And now, max out your savings. The more you buy, the more you save on beds, bases, and more. Plus, get free home delivery on any smart bed with base. Limited time. Check it out at a Sleep Number store near you or at sleepnumber.com today.
I'm Mike King from the podcast Profiling Evil, a place where true crime meets behavioral science. I spent my career investigating serial predators and studying the psychology behind them. Here, we don't just talk about what criminals did, we explore why they do what they do. We expose manipulation and control, look at how offenders select their victims, and uncover the ways that they try to avoid detection. You can find Profiling Evil on your favorite podcast platform.
Don't ask me to talk.
And welcome to another hot edition of Don't Ask Me to Talk. I'm one of your podcast pals. I'm Eric Ryder.
Hey, I'm the other one. Ciao. Buonasera.
Say what now?
I'm back from Italy.
Yes, you're Stacy Heller.
Right, her too.
Yes. and welcome back.
Heller doesn't sound Italian. Hellerini.
Yeah, because it's not.
Hellerissimo. I think that's maybe Spanish. Whatever. Anyway, hi. I'm back and I'm a little jet lagged.
Yeah, I'm still jet lagged. I got back like 2 weeks ago, and I'm still, kind of in a brain fog from traveling and the various time zones, and Iceland, the UK, and France, all different time zones, by the way. Which I don't even think about because it's an hour for each one, but it still affects you a little bit, and especially then coming back here, it's like, we're going back in time,
Right.
It's like we're leaving at 7 o'clock at night and we're arriving at 8 o'clock at night. And it's like, what?
What? How did that even happen?
Right.
Yeah, it was definitely a whirlwind. And then, this is a classic American thought, which is, oh, wait, the world doesn't revolve around us. I stupidly thought that daylight savings time is like a universal thing, and it happens the same time for everyone everywhere.
Right.
Well, it doesn't.
Exactly.
It does happen in Italy, though.
Yeah, it does happen.
And theirs
in other
was
places
last weekend.
Yeah, they just do it at a different time.
Totally. And
right.
I'm like, what? So we experienced daylight savings, which was good because it happened that we got the extra hour of sleep on Sunday,
right.
And that's the day that we were packing to leave.
So you probably got it a little closer in alignment with our time here.
Yeah, because it's a 9-hour difference.
Right.
And what's up with it taking 24 hours to get basically to where you're going these days? I don't understand. I mean, it was an 11-hour flight. So we flew from Rome to Paris to Charles de Gaulle Airport, and that was I don't know how long. That flight, I absolutely slept. I was like, oh, there's a cookie on my tray, huh? And
wait, you flew from Rome to Paris. Were you going to Paris? I thought you only went to Italy on this trip.
We did, but but our flight, the layover, was in Paris for 3 hours.
Okay, so I think you said that backwards. So you flew from Seattle to Paris.
Well, no.
And then
No. We flew from Seattle to JFK on the way there, and then flew to Rome. On the way home, we flew from Rome to Paris, then from Paris to Seattle.
Okay, I see.
Yes.
Okay, I was very confused.
Yeah, well, probably I was confusing, if I'm being honest. And so that was just, that first short flight, was sort of a non-thing. But then we get on the plane in Paris to head to Seattle, and it's an 11-hour flight.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? There's got to be a shorter way.
There is, but
it costs more?
Well, you just opted not to take that.
Yeah, I guess so,
Yeah.
man. It was just, yeah. But that's fine. It was an amazing trip. And I saw a lot of movies, none of which in theory were really, we always talk about our cultural blind spots.
Right.
These were not, like, I just was not going to watch the John Wick movies. And they were all present and accounted for. And I already checked off a Mission Impossible movie. So I was like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll talk about that a little bit later.
For sure. For
So-
sure. And by the way, folks, for daylight savings time, that's for us, that's this weekend. That's on Sunday the 2nd.
Yes.
So depending when you listen to the podcast, you may either be an hour behind or you should be an hour behind or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, just take note.
It's a fall back.
That's
spring
right. We're
ahead.
falling back. Yes.
So that'll just confuse me even more.
Hey, I mean, as long as we're changing things up, we might as well go full tilt, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean,
Get it all done.
Yeah. So anyway, before I launch into my week, besides having still a little bit of jet lag, how was your week?
My week pretty interesting. I had a doctor's appointment this last week. I got my annual physical.
Oh, okay.
So that was good. In that they didn't say like
You're
know,
dying.
Yeah,
You're dead.
Yes, exactly.
Let's kick the tires. You still got some life left in you.
Right. But I was, since I got back from Europe, I've had this kind of low level cold that I just have not been able to kick. And every time I think I'm over, every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in. To quote our good friend Al Pacino, which is a reference we both get now.
Yes, we do. Finally.
Yes. But yeah, I'll feel like better and then, go about my life. And then like by the end of the day, I'm like, oh God, I feel awful. It's like, what the hell? So yeah, it's been that. But the day that I had the physical exam, I felt good. So I thought, okay, I'm done with this. I can do the physical exam. They're like, well, you're due for your shingles vaccine and you're due for your pneumonia vaccine. So I'm like, yeah, let's bang them out, take care of it.
Might
Yeah.
as well.
So they're like, hey, we'll do one in each arm. So it's not, one arm is not too sore. I'm like, great, that makes sense. So I get that. And, I forgot that I'm a side sleeper. And so both arms were sore.
So talk about being restless.
And yes, exactly. As I try and sleep, ow, 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 turn, ow, ow, ow.
They're weirdly sore, those shots.
Yeah.
Do we have to get shingles every year, or is that just a one and done?
That's, I think it's like once every, childhood probably and adulthood.
Okay, because I think I got my shingles shot last year.
Well, the thing is with the shingles is it's a two-parter. Yeah.
So I did do part 1 and part 2.
Yeah.
So that check. Look at me. I actually did something I'm supposed to.
Right.
Wow, adulting. But I
Yes.
haven't gotten a flu shot. So I should do that. Probably.
Yeah, they were like, do you want to get the flu shot too? I'm like, I think 3. I don't have another arm. I think 3 might be a little bit much.
Oh, there you go.
At one time. So I'm going to have to do that later. But first I got to kick this cold fully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And traveling just wears you down.
It did, yeah.
I mean, it's like, it's so great, but you're sort of on adrenaline because
Right.
with the jet lag, you sort of don't let it impact you when you're there because you're like,
Mhm.
nope, I'm going to rally. There's stuff to see, places to go.
Right.
And then you're really running on fumes by the end.
Absolutely.
So it takes a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. To piggyback on your trip to the doctor, I went a couple of weeks ago before I went to Italy, and she had me do a full
before. Why didn't I think of that?
right.
I did try that, by the way, but they just didn't have any open appointments.
Well,
but yeah,
there you
go
go.
ahead.
Well, so I went because I've just been a mess between the ankle and then like mental health and the whole thing. Like I had a week there where I saw a bunch of people and I was so fragile and so like in my head that I had friends, the friends that saw me that week reached out and they were like, so are we doing better? Like,
okay, yeah.
like, how's it going? Like, sort of like, let's walk away slowly. But anyway, so my doctor had me do a full panel. So I go in later today, actually, to meet with my doctor to find out what the blood tests reveal. And I already know that it's going to be like your pre-diabetes, your cholesterol's high. Like, I don't know how to read the tests, but I just know how to read myself. But the test that I'm excited to find out the answer to is, does she or does she not have rheumatoid arthritis in her ankle?
Yeah, because how is your ankle, by the way?
It did really well. So I
Good.
have been working with an amazing physical therapist, Jeff. Shout out, Jeff. And he's been really great about, you know, here's what we need to do to be strong while you're in Italy and support it. I got a portable TEMS machine, or like a stimulator thing where you put the pads on and you turn it on and it sort of stimulates blood flow and stuff.
Oh, so it's not like just full of London River water.
No.
Okay, good.
No.
Because you don't want that water.
No, definitely not. No. And so that was helpful. And then the thing with Italy and most of Europe, though, is there's not a lot of ice to be had. So it's not like I could just go into the ice maker and make bags of ice to ice my ankle. But I figured something out and wore sensible shoes, which was killing me, instead of cute, fashionable ones. And so my ankle actually did really well.
Good.
I was very happy about that. But I am eager to find out once and for all, like, what's up with the ankle. And got into I didn't. Okay. So the podiatrist thing, I'm not going to like call them out, but it was not a great experience. And I spoke with the office manager yesterday and was like, let me tell you about it. Like, I could be a keyboard warrior and go behind the security of my keyboard and write a scathing review about the experience that I had and the whole thing. But I was like, you know what? No. And so the office happened to be in the same place that I was going for physical therapy. So I stopped by and said, I would like a phone call.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got that and went through the whole thing. And he was like, yikes, that's not cool. And so won't be going back there. You can DM me and I'll let you know who not to see. And
I mean, aside from PA Rick Massey.
Well, I don't mind calling out PA Rick Massey. I'm okay with that. But, you know, this one
Call back to earlier when you were first dealing with this issue.
Yes. Exactly. But this one, I don't mind kissing and telling, but you gotta reach out to me first, and then I'll tell you. And so that was just frustrating. Like, at one point, the office manager said, I'm really sorry that, you felt this way. It sounds like you've had this experience. And I was like, no, I've never had a doctor reduce me to how I look and make me feel fat and assume that I have gout because of how I look.
Mm.
And he was like, ooh. Like, what am I supposed to say? So anyway, update on the ankle. Thanks to physical therapy, thanks to my general practitioner, no thanks to the podiatrist, I seem to be on the road to recovery and finding out more information. And I'll tell you what, it's just time to take care of my health.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's going to be not bad news, but I know it's going to be a reality check, and I'm looking forward to it.
Now, to be fair, often ankle issues can be gout, but it seems like they need to do a test before just declaring something like that, right?
Well, and interestingly, apparently they don't need to drain fluid from the ankle in order to find out if it's gout. You can just, I don't know, do a blood test that you had me do anyway and check to see if it's arthritis,
Yeah, I mean, sounds like they're not following protocol.
Well, I guess they're following their own protocol.
Right.
And it absolutely, it could be, gout. However, I have made adjustments to diet. I've done those things. A lot of times it can be attributed to drinking. My drinking has like plummeted since I was at the lake this summer. And even at the lake, I was aware, like gout came up early in the conversation and I was like, it will not be gout. And so, was really
out, damn gout.
Exactly. And so was really like, I'm not going to like go hard all summer.
Right.
And so it's just weird. The other thing is gout, typically you'll get a flare up for a minute and it will go away. This has been something that has been chronically bothering me since June.
Yeah, that seems like
something different.
Something deeper, probably.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll see what the deal is. But, I'm like, all right, here we go. Got to go to the doctor. So I did it. And
Good.
I'll let you all know what the doctor says because I'll be transparent. You can go on this journey with me.
Right. Yeah,
Right?
and you got to be an advocate for yourself, for your health.
Totally.
Because if you just put stuff off, and I'm saying this as much for myself as anybody, it just gets worse.
Well, it does.
Right?
And here's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, ha ha, if I don't take care of my ankle, it'll go away. Like,
Right.
like,
But it didn't.
right. Or
Yeah.
it'll end up being, well, the other thing is, like, why wouldn't you bring up if there's a chance that I'm pre-diabetes? Like, there are people that have diabetes that have feet issues and lose their feet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, could we bring that up?
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to call me fat, then just call me fat, for God's sakes. Like, bring up the range of possibilities that it could be.
Right.
I mean, when he started going through the list and telling me, well, when you drink a lot of beer, and I said, yeah, but I don't drink beer. And then it was, well, and wine. And I was like, actually, I rarely have a glass of wine. It gives me headaches. And, at that point, I'm like, are you going to go through every item that's in a liquor
Yes.
cabinet to try to, like, pinpoint
Right.
what it is? So, but anyway, it caused me to not drink as much, surely, while I was in Italy. Although, the wine in Italy, really good wine, €5 a bottle, which is like, what, $6.50 US, and maybe 7. I don't know the conversion. That's like really hard math.
Yeah, I was the whole time over there trying to, convert money in my head. Yeah, it was a losing game.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But it doesn't give you headaches. It's lovely. It's like it's just somehow better. Like the wine didn't have the same impact that it normally does for me here. So I don't know if it's
Sulfites, maybe.
sulfites or
Yeah.
what it is. But it was delish.
Oh, good.
So, yeah. All right. So, you're tired. You're low-level sick. You've been playing ouchie, ouchie ping pong in bed
Right.
from your shots in your arms.
I didn't even talk about the fact that I had to testify in a court case.
What?
And I also had a dentist appointment. So it's been an interesting week full of
Okay.
ups and downs.
First, I'm excited that you're continuing your journey because the dentist thing, like, you hadn't been in a while and you
Yeah.
went for the first time.
Right.
And so,
Yeah.
happy to hear that you're
Still doing it.
still doing it. Can you talk about the court case?
I feel like I should probably keep it just as general as possible. But I'd never testified in court before.
Yeah.
And
Is it like TV? Did you have to hold up your right hand?
here's the thing. I was called in as a representative of the company for a case involving a former employee.
Okay.
I'm trying to parse this.
Yeah, I know.
Right, because and I was subpoenaed at my house while I was working at home, and it's just like in the movies where someone like shows up and
They're
says,
like,
Eric, yeah, and then I go, and then they hand me
You've
the
been
paperwork.
served.
Yeah, exactly.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Exactly like that. It was, but I was on my front porch, and So I'm like, of course. So my heart's like, and then I like read the thing, and it's like, oh, you're, in this case of this person versus this organization, you need to testify. And so I immediately alerted the company just because it looked like it was they're asking me in my official capacity as an employee here to testify.
Sure.
And so the company's like, okay, well, we need to get legal involved. So legal was involved, and so I had meetings with lawyers, and the lawyers gave me some coaching on how to do the testimony. And then they were also able to negotiate so that I could do this remotely rather than have to go down and testify in person.
Okay.
So that was nice. So it was like a Zoom meeting, essentially.
All right.
Which way more convenient because this was like a drive down in rush hour to Tumwater
Oh my gosh.
to testify, take a day off work. So it didn't end up being that dramatic, but it was an experience, because regardless of the fact that I had no dog in the race in this, and they just wanted to ask questions about this former employee, and I still couldn't help but feel like I was being accused of murder. you know.
This is like when I know what you're saying, because like every time we go either into Canada or US, as
Yes.
I've mentioned in the past, our lake house is close to the border. When they're like, do you have any like drugs or like firearms on board?
Right.
And I'm like, do I? I don't think so. Like, I might. And meanwhile, like, don't do drugs and
Exactly.
don't own a gun.
Exactly.
And like,
A patrol car pulls up behind you on the freeway. You're not speeding, but still you're like,
totally. It's like, wait, did I just murder that person?
Right, exactly.
Maybe there was a fever dream. So I understand that anxiety.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
So, but it ended up being fine.
Of course, it was fine. Yeah, I had no stake in this case, so it was super fine. They just needed me as to answer general questions about this. But it definitely, because they kept coming back to certain things again and again, it just kind of felt like, oh, did I do something wrong?
Right. Like, so you said this, and it's
right.
yes, I did. And
Yeah.
I think you're asking me the same question again.
And then I was well aware of the fact also that, like, I was stumbling over stuff. And now, typically, I stumble over stuff in normal conversation all the time. But in my head, I'm thinking, because I'm not putting this as succinctly as possible, I sound like I'm guilty. Even though this is not a criminal case, but I can't help the little,
Yes.
gears going in my brain as I'm spitting out every word, and that's making it more like stumbly. And yeah, it was wild. So I'm glad I don't have to do it every week, but it was an interesting experience for sure. Yeah,
That's so interesting.
and someday I could probably talk about the content of it, but I just for the sake of fairness
course.
for
All
all those
involved.
people, I want to wait until that's entirely resolved and
Totally.
I know better.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I have a good friend who he is a forensic psychiatrist, and he goes to testify all the time as an expert witness. And to do that kind of stuff, you got to have a flair for the dramatic.
Sure.
Like attorneys and, people that are in that space, like, you may be studying laws and doing all this stuff, but you do have to be pretty, like, comfortable with being in the spotlight, being a bit manipulative with how you ask the questions,
Right.
coming from every angle. Like, we're going to try the front door, but we're also going to go through the basement door and the window and the upstairs attic and the trap door and the laundry chute. And you're like, wait, I'm so confused. Yeah. Interesting. All right.
Yeah. And I've never had to have representation from a lawyer before, so that was interesting too.
Yeah.
But everybody did a good job, and it was all good. And
Were you the only person at work that was subpoenaed?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That either means that you're the worst.
No, it was just because I was the person that hired this person that was involved in the case.
Got it. Okay.
So, yeah.
Got it.
Does not mean I'm the worst.
Well, I was going to say.
There's far worse.
Or the best. You didn't let me finish. Like, you're that person, like the one phone call from jail. Have you ever been anybody's one phone call from jail?
No.
I
Thankfully.
have.
Really?
Yes. Although.
And you weren't like, was this one of your children?
No.
Can I ask? Okay.
Well, okay. No,
Okay.
not at all. None of my biological children. However.
Because that's the only time I would think that would make sense. But
Right. However, there are.
Unless it was Pete.
No. No. Oh, my bad boy husband, Pete. No, it was a family friend.
Okay.
But the thing is, like, it's not the way it seems. Like, the whole, like, you get one phone call. Like, she was talking to her roommate, and the roommate was like, hey, she's going to call you from jail, and you're going to be the one phone call. I'm like, but if she's talking to you now, then doesn't that make you the one phone call?
Right.
Like, I'm confused. And then she's, like, on the phone with, like, her dad and, like, I'm like,
How are you?
How
one
are all
phone
these phone
call
calls?
After, yeah.
Right. So apparently it's not quite the one phone call thing.
Right.
But I still like the fact that I actually was the person's official one phone call.
Okay.
And then they came back to our house and they were like, oh my God, it was horrible. Meanwhile, they're in like the Issaquah jail overnight.
Uh-huh.
And, it was like, I'm gluten-free. Do you have anything for me to eat?
No, brother.
And they took a bath in the bathtub and were just like wailing, oh, it was horrible. Yeah, it was quite dramatic. And if you're listening.
Was there actual crime involved, or was this a...
No, it was during COVID, and it was a kind of a domestic dispute between roommates where tensions were high, and the roommate of the person I know sprayed the person I know with Lysol, like in the face kind of thing.
Gravity.
And naturally...
If you don't wipe down your groceries, you're
right.
going to get the Lysol.
Kind of. And this person, as evidenced by the I don't do gluten, is all like natural and uses specific products that are all natural.
So that was an assault.
So it was an assault. And so she lashed out and like hit the roommate. And then that led to a fight on the front in the front yard. And then the roommate called the police. And once the call is made, an arrest has to be made.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was a COVID cat fight.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Yes, indeed. So fun. But anyway, yeah, what can I say?
I really think COVID broke so many people's brains. It really did.
It really did.
Yeah.
Big time. And the result of that whole thing is that the third roommate in that merry band ended up living with us for over 3 months because he had no place to go.
Right.
And in the end...
He's like, I don't want to be in the middle of this mess.
Well, so he married her.
What?
Not the Lysol sprayer, the other one.
Uh-huh.
And they're happily married now for like 3 years.
Okay. Well, to each their own.
I'm like, man, you two deserve each other. She says with love and affection.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Wild.
Yeah. So we're so way off topic already.
And, well, we never met a tangent we didn't like.
It's
so
true.
It's all par for the course on Don't Ask Me to Talk. And you know what? We're about due for a break.
All right.
So why don't we take that quick break? We'll come back. We'll talk some more about our European vacations. And we'll talk maybe some cultural blind spots.
Let's do it.
Everybody stay tuned for more.
Ask me to talk.
Do you feel challenged by the thought of getting ready every day? Want to make a great first impression, but don't feel your wardrobe represents who you really are? Does the thought of trying to find great clothing that fits your body and lifestyle have you overwhelmed? Michael Bruce Image Consulting is a premier image consulting company that can help you get your style back on track. Contact them at michaelbruceimageconsulting.com or call them at 425-214-4155 and start that conversation today.
And we're back right here on Don't Ask Me to Talk. I'm one of your podcast pals. I'm Eric Ryder.
Hey, I'm the other one. I'm Stacy Heller. This time I remembered to say my name. I think the first time I just said, like, ciao.
That's right, yeah. And by the way, we've both been sworn in.
Yep.
So
yes.
we have to tell the truth.
The whole truth.
And nothing but.
Yep. And the truth is, I had a great time in Italy.
Good.
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
We picked, just to put this in perspective by numbers, and I swear I'm doing the best that I can recall because I don't know the exact numbers, but we picked somewhere north of 250, I think, olive trees.
Okay, now explain this because you're paying to go do labor for somebody else.
Well, I'm not. I mean, I am because I paid for airfare.
It's like when yuppies go pick apples
Yes.
in upstate New York.
Yes.
But you've taken it to the next level.
Yes.
You've gone to Italy to pick
Yes.
olives.
You know what, Eric? Yeah, and I'm proud of it.
But you can't bring those olives home even.
No, but I brought the olive oil home.
Okay, well, that's good. That's something.
Two
But
of the...
not in your carry-on.
No. Checked bags.
Yes.
I brought 2 of the 432 liters that were processed from the olives that we picked.
Okay.
So the deal is I have a dear friend, and her father's first cousin is this woman and her husband who have a place in Italy. He's Italian by birth and has traveled the whole world, and they met in college, and they bought this really wonderful broken down villa in Todi, which is in Umbria, and she has spent 30 years, redoing this thing, and has planted olive trees over the years. And so every year she invites friends and family and alternates, and it's like, hey, come stay at the villa for free. We're going to feed you and give you a place to stay, and you help us harvest the olives, and come and watch the olives go through the whole pressing process, and you will leave with some olive oil.
Not a bad deal.
Not a bad deal. And we, at the time, Rob, who is the host and homeowner of the house, it was his birthday, so he had some friends there, plus all of us. We went to a lovely former castle and had like a 6-course tasting with wine. We did a cooking class at another place. We went shopping and wandering in Todi and Orvieto. So all in all, it was an amazing experience.
It sounds great. Yeah.
It was so great. And the best food by far. So they have a gal that comes in. They rent out their villa when they're not there through some rental company to mostly friends and contacts and that kind of thing. And she's kind of the housekeeper caretaker, and you can pay extra and she will cook for you. Such an amazing cook. She goes as her nickname by Juicy. And the food that she and Marilyn, the hostess, make together is just, it's like, oh, let me get some kale out of the garden. Oh, let me get, some pomegranate and, do something with this. It's just this food that is unbelievable.
Super fresh.
Super fresh, super delish, super Italian. And it was amazing.
Nice.
Yeah. And it's an experience that the olive trees, we would descend like locusts on a tree, and all of a sudden it would be like, boom, the olives are gone. Sometimes that was cool. I was into being social and chit-chatting. Sometimes I would be like the lone picker, and I would start on a different tree to have some quality me time. Most of the folks used what looks like a children's rake to rake the olives off. I am a hand picker. And my hands at the end of that whole experience were super soft because the oils from the olives actually didn't make it hard. It made them really soft. So that was amazing. The scenes, it's one of those places, and I'm sure you experienced this, like you went to Stonehenge, which I want to hear about.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things that is so surreally beautiful that you try to take pictures and it just doesn't do it justice.
Yeah.
Like coming home and showing people about the food or the scenery at this villa and watching the sunset behind the chapel of the church in the town over and watching it radiate out from the bell tower. Like you can't capture that. You know, you think you can, but you can't. So at a certain point, I just put down the camera.
Yeah.
And it was like, I'm
Savor
just
it.
here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it was really, really amazing.
Yeah, I've been thinking like, oh, I'm taking a ton of pictures. And then when I get home, I'm like, really? That's all the pictures I took? Huh. That's kind of surprising because, you know, a lot of times I was just like, just trying to absorb, you know, the world, you know, and just like, oh, this is great. You know, what a beautiful place. And all the places I went to were beautiful. So, but yeah, it is one of those things where you really have to kind of work on the balance, you know, like
Totally.
I want to capture some of this, but at the same time realizing that for what, you know?
Right.
So I can put this on social media. Who cares?
And that's just it.
Yeah.
I haven't put anything on social media because, frankly, I'm like, the other thing is we created a shared album among all of the people that went and also our hostess and her friend. And so there's 10 people. We have like 1,300 photos. And I'm like, okay, this kind of covers every angle of this experience.
Right.
And, you know, it's an amazing thing, but now I got all these pictures and like, okay, what am I going to do with this? I suppose I can create a photo book and I will, and that's a cool thing to do.
Someday you'll want them to look back on.
Totally.
For sure. But it's like, you know, it absorbing the experience. It's like when you go to a concert and people spend the whole time just holding their phone up, you know, taking pictures or shooting video that they'll never watch again. It's like, oh, you're really missing the experience that we're all collectively having of really enjoying this, you know, because you're so focused on your phone, you know, like capturing this for whatever reason 40 years later that you're going to enjoy it instead of just enjoying it in the moment.
I remember as a kid, a teenager, early teen years, working for a family in Maine. And at the time, the word awesome, it was the 80s, was really big, right? And you have to say it really fast like that, like awesome. And
radical.
Exactly. So that word was, you know, everything was awesome.
Tubular.
All of those. All of those. The summers that I spent in Maine, sitting on the dock and, you know, hearing the loon, seeing a moose, the smells, like
That's
the
not
sunsets.
a nice thing to call your mom, by the way.
Well, she wasn't there, so it was your mom.
Ouch.
I never get to do a your mom joke, so this was my moment. And I learned I experienced the true definition of awesome. And I remember distinctly having that feeling like, oh, this is what awesome is. And I can go back in space and time to that moment and remember it and recall it. And that's what those experiences that we're talking about are.
Yeah.
That, you know, it's a full sensory experience.
Yeah.
So, you know, this was that. And I'm fortunate that I have now been able to experience this twice. I am on the A team of olive pickers.
Well, very cool. It's you and Mr. T.
Exactly. So, yeah, it was a really amazing experience.
That's so cool. And did you go elsewhere? I mean, aside from your layovers?
No, I mean, we were really there was a lot more. The first time that we went, we didn't have as many trees to pick. It wasn't as big of a harvest. This one was really big, so we did spend a lot of time. And so the places that we went were, into Todi. We went into the Roman cisterns there and got to do a tour of that. We went to Orvieto, but let's face it, that was really to go shopping. And, we nary gave the Duomo there a glance. It was like, there it is. And, ate the food and enjoyed that. We spent some time in Rome. We did a late night tour, which I'll tell you what, talk about a cultural blind spot. You're in Rome and it's like, there's all these amazing buildings and everything, but it is so crowded.
Right.
And so doing the golf cart tour from 9:30 p.m. to 12:30 a.m., it was, still hustle bustle because it was a Sunday night and whatever, but so much better. You could get close to the Trevi Fountain. You could see, the buildings. You could see the Spanish Steps. You could see, I got amazing pictures of the Colosseum by night with everything lit up. So that's a good way to do it.
Nice.
Yeah. And, we got gelato and they got coffee and
Vatican City. Did you see that at all? I don't know if the Pope's up late, but
drove by it on our way in. So landed in Rome, and then we were picking up 2 other travelers, and our taxi driver or van driver was like, "There's the wall to Vatican City," and I was like, "There it is." I had the opportunity to go last time we went, but then I got a little rumbly in my tumbly in the Sistine Chapel. And had to go to the bathroom, at which point my husband and our tour guide went out into, St. Peter's Square?
I guess. I've never actually been.
They left me for dead in the Sistine Chapel, and
Wow.
I couldn't leave to go join the tour group because you have to leave with your tour guide. And so I was this close and did not get to go.
But you did see the Sistine Chapel.
I did see the Sistine
Which
Chapel.
is one of the big attractions there.
Huge attraction. Yeah. And got to look up and say, my God, why have you forsaken me? So that's my experience with Vatican City. But I was like, hey, what's up, Pope? American guy. So that's kind of cool.
So you didn't go this time.
No.
I got to check it out because I missed out last time.
No.
Okay.
This wasn't that. And I had one of the 4 pastas of Rome. Carbonara was my choice this time. And yeah, it was awesome.
Excellent.
Yeah. So you got to talk about Stonehenge because you didn't really talk about it last time.
Yes. So Stonehenge.
Yes. Not the one that I saw in Spinal Tap, of course.
Correct. And which, by the way, I rewatched that recently too, based on you rewatching it. Just kind of inspired me to check it out again. It is still very funny.
It's so stupidly funny.
It's a great movie, absolutely. And I still haven't seen the sequel.
Me neither.
So I'm looking forward to that hitting streaming platforms to check out.
Yeah.
'Cause, very, very funny movie if you haven't seen it. But yeah, I mean, I've been to England, probably 8 times now, I think. And I've still never gone to probably the most famous site in England. I mean, maybe Buckingham Palace is slightly more famous or on par with it, but
Right.
Stonehenge is one of those things that people talk about. It's like a World Heritage spot.
Site, yeah.
It's still got so many mysteries surrounding it. They pretty much think the Druids, built it, but like the construction of it based on the time that it was made is still kind of a mystery because there are these huge, heavy stones and they're placed specifically to line up with like the solstices. Apparently there is animal bones and stuff that I've found. So making it seem like, okay, maybe a lot of sacrifice, animal sacrifice, and maybe some human sacrifice was taking place there. So maybe it was a holy site in, Druid practices. And so it's one of these mystical, mysterious, very famous places.
Yeah.
And I always think about, when I think of Stonehenge, the scene in National Lampoon's European Vacation where Clark Griswold drives their rental car and up to it, and he's like backing up to get a parking space and ends up knocking him over like dominoes. And it makes me laugh. But that's all the Stonehenge experience that I'd had up to this point.
Sure.
But this time we were in the south of England. We went to Bath, we went to Southampton, and in between, there's this beautiful little town, Salisbury, and it's like in between Bath and Southampton. So we were able to take like a little day trip, store our bags, and go take a little tour to Stonehenge for a couple hours. And I was debating, is this worth doing, because it's ultimately it's just some rocks,
Right.
We got rocks.
Oh, I know, rocks.
Right? But, there is really something to it. And I'll say that Salisbury itself is a really cool little city. We just stumbled into a really nice restaurant, had a great meal before we went on the tour.
Did they serve stone soup?
No. Anyway, and they've got an amazing cathedral that's got a beautiful tower. And we learned that it was one of the places that surprisingly was not hit by the Germans. And they found out after the war that the Germans were using the Salisbury Tower as like GPS, basically. They could position themselves based on seeing the tower in Salisbury.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it survived the war where many other like famous places in England were bombed. And Southampton, I think, is a good example of that because it's interesting how it's like totally a modern city, but they also have these like medieval stone walls and stuff that you can walk up on. Anyway, so Stonehenge itself was very interesting to see, but it is so busy and so crowded because it's so famous, and that it kind of makes it hard to really take it in. And really like appreciate the vibes because there's so many Asian tourists for some reason. I don't know why that they in particular seem to find this. I mean, I guess just because it's famous,
Yeah.
But or maybe it was just the time that we were there that there was like a whole group
probably a whole
from
group. Yeah.
China or Japan. But yeah, it was just like so many people. And the weird thing is the way they set it up, like when you go in, like the welcome center and the gift shop and all this stuff is like a mile or 2 miles away from Stonehenge itself.
Interesting.
And I guess it's just because that's the closest land that they could buy to the actual monument. Whereas it's surrounded by like private land and farmland and stuff. So we're like, you can walk. There's a trail, basically. You can walk, or you can take the coach. We're like, we can walk. We feel good today. We'll just, get in our steps. And it ended up taking like 25 minutes, 30 minutes to walk between the center and Stonehenge itself.
Yeah.
So that just ate up a good chunk
Of your time.
Of the time that we had there, which was not a lot of time. So my tip is take the coach. Yeah, it's free, and you can see the sheep at a faster pace through the bus window. Because really, that's all you see is sheep.
Yeah, well,
as you walk to it. But Stonehenge itself, it is pretty cool to see in person. It's pretty impressive. It's, I don't think that, again, like with the Godfather movies, it's like, okay, this is cool. I can understand why it's popular, why people consider this a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so much in the world, that's amazing and fascinating that don't feel bad if you don't make it to one thing or another, because just enjoy the cool stuff that you do get to see in life. You can't see everything.
Yeah.
But it was nice to check that off the list of things like, okay, I've finally seen it. This is cool. I will rate it in my top 5 hinges, for sure. It's up there.
Know. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's definitely up there in top 5 hinges for me. Maybe, definitely in that list would also be Fudge Henge, which we saw in a candy shop in Salisbury. They made Fudge Henge, which was a recreation of Stonehenge out of fudge, and it looked really delicious. But they were closing up, so we didn't get a chance to buy or taste Fudge Henge.
Oh my gosh!
But that's definitely also in the top 5 henges for me.
I think for me, the thing about these places, because I agree with you, like, seeing the Trevi Fountain, it's like, wow, or seeing like the Pantheon in Rome, right? The thing is like, oh, like they were doing okay before we were here.
Yeah.
Like you see the cisterns in Todi and how they collected water, and you're like, huh, like there's been a lot of people before us. And that's the thing I think that's really interesting. But it's just another picture of the Trevi Fountain. It's just another picture of the Pantheon. It's just another like picture of Stonehenge. Like these things are good to see because obviously, to your point, they're in the World Heritage Sites, and like these are monuments that make these places what they are and the history. I mean, you go around Rome and on one street you see like Bulgari, and then on the next street over you see like a fountain that's been there for thousands of years that's just like casually on the street corner.
Yeah.
And they just work around it. But it just made me feel like, oh, I am just a blip on a timeline.
Uh-huh.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, we all are.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's a humbling thing, and it puts things in perspective.
It really does, yeah.
And so, to your point, these things are good to see, and also, they're everywhere.
Right. Yeah, there's amazing stuff every corner of the world. So if you don't see everything, then don't sweat it. You're seeing amazing stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But get out of the house and go check out what the world has to offer, I think, is probably what we're both saying here.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, both of us were really fortunate to go, someplace else and see some things, and certainly not downplaying them. But at the end of the day, the things that I will take away from my trip, and I think you will, is those experiences that, again, engage all the senses, like the foods that you tasted, the people that you met, the bands that you saw and listened to.
Yeah, you know, it was the smaller experiences that mean way more to me than the bigger experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And it's tough because when something is incredible or historically significant, you can understand why it's busy, why it's popular. But it's the popularity that kind of spoils the experience.
It does.
Because just having so many people around, you can't absorb the beauty of it.
No.
Because you're constantly trying to get out of the way of somebody else. And I went in October. I can only imagine in the summer months just how swamped that is with people. You can't and just the stuff where they try and modernize it, oh, can you take a picture where it looks like you're pushing over Stonehenge, or, and it's just, and so you see 50 people trying to get the exact same picture, a trick shot, and it's just who cares? You know what I mean?
Right. Yes.
It's just they're clearly not here to absorb the real meaning of this place. They're here for a dumb picture for their Instagram.
Right. Check off the box.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and to a certain point, I felt like, okay, that's what I'm doing. I'm checking off the box. But at the same time, I wanted to have the experience where I really absorbed the importance of this place that has stood for thousands of years. And I got that a little bit, but I didn't get as much as I would have liked to. And part of that was just because it's so popular.
Yeah,
you know?
sheer numbers.
Yeah, and same thing with the Eiffel Tower. It was amazing, and we went at a great time that we were able to get tickets, go all the way to the top and view the city and stuff. But even at like midnight, it was packed with people, and it kind of takes some of the joy out of it. And, you know, I wouldn't want any of those people to miss out on the opportunity. But at the same time, it was just like, boy, you really got to go at like 4 a.m. on in January
and like
to enjoy anything
bring
anymore.
Bring a blanket and lay down in the middle of Stonehenge and just absorb the energy.
There's
and, like,
too many people in the world.
It's a lot.
And I don't want to sound racist, by the way. Normally this ends with terrible stuff being said. But I really feel like entitled people from every country and every city are as bad as entitled people from this country.
Absolutely.
I'll just say it.
Yes.
There are entitled jerks all over the planet.
That's not racist. That's just a
No,
that's just
I know.
a truth.
I'm kidding in that respect because, you know, to a certain extent, I'm generalizing. But it really is if you travel, like especially these big heritage sites.
Yep.
There's so many people that are just like just absorbed in their own world, and they're from all corners of the world, and they're just as obnoxious as any American that you felt was like the ugly American,
right?
You know, representing us poorly abroad.
Yep.
They, you know, every country has people representing their country poorly abroad.
Totally, it is very true. We sat in Rome having this lovely dinner, and next to us was a table of 3 20-something women, and you know their glass of wine and their food, and the entire meal was spent like taking pictures, like, oh, just casually like eating dinner in Rome at the Trevi Fountain.
Right.
And like it just everything was, you know, posed, and the one person would get a good shot and they'd be like, oh my gosh. And so then the next person would move into the same shot. And it's like they didn't even eat. They didn't finish their wine. It was a photo op. It was purely a photo op.
Which is the same experience that I had at the Blue Lagoon in Iceland. When I went in 2009, it was an amazing, otherworldly experience. Mm-hmm. And this time around, it was still otherworldly, but on that world was a whole bunch of people making content for their social media. And it was a complete contrast with Bath, where they also had a thermal spa with the geothermal waters. But in that case, that place banned phones. You have to put your phone in a pouch. You can't take it into the pools. And it was a much nicer experience.
Yeah.
It was much more laid back, and there weren't people like blocking trying to like having, you know, someone shoot video of them enjoying their life when they weren't enjoying their life. They're posing for video, you know.
Right.
And so, you know, it was just like, well, this is too bad that something that was something I really look forward to was, you know, soaking in the Blue Lagoon. And it's still very costly, but I thought like this is going to be worth it. I'd still say it was worth it, but it's just like it nowhere near the experience that it used to be, because I feel like social media.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Yes.
Ugh.
Exactly.
We're just ruining everything.
And I know I sound like an old crank.
We
but
both do.
It really is just one of those things where it's like, damn. There's steps that people can take, and the place in Bath, it was just as crowded as the Blue Lagoon was. So I think that people are willing to take those steps, if the place enforces these rules.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
So-
It's definitely it's a struggle, and if you really try to be immersive, like, even just capturing the sunset each night, like I just stopped, and because we were sharing an album, I'm like, let them take the pictures, and I'm just going to sit here and enjoy it and just not freak out. There was one night that I was icing my ankle, and I just watched the sunset from my window and was like, this is lovely.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay that I'm doing this from the window versus out on the lawn and taking 1,000 pictures.
Right.
Because then I'm just looking at it through a phone screen.
Yep.
So, yeah, it was amazing. And because we're probably running out of time here.
Absolutely.
Did you make any impulse purchases? Because, by the way, this is sort of what our topic was from forever ago.
It was our topic on the show last week, but we barely paid lip service to it. But you know what?
Anything that you bought while you were traveling?
Yeah. I'm trying to think, like, off the top of my head. You go first if you had an impulse.
Well, and I'm showing you, I bought a bag.
Okay.
And I know it's like, oh, Italy, a bag. That's crazy.
Like a purse is what you're talking about.
Yeah. But the thing is, it looks different than most of the purses that you see, like, on all the corners where it's like the whatever. And I was like, it's orange and maroon, and it's got kind of an ugly vibe, and I love it. And it was totally this, like, all the women that I was with, they were like, yeah, that's cute. Like, it's just not their thing, right?
It's unique. It's different.
And so I was like, I'm buying it.
Yeah.
Like, it was a total, and zero regrets. Like, just went with gut.
Well, one of my favorite things to do is visit like charity shops or thrift shops while I'm abroad. And one of my favorite things that I bought was a T-shirt that in Glasgow that is for the subway. It was like a celebration of the subway's anniversary, so it says "subby" on it. And I just thought, like, oh, this is cool. You're not going to see this in America except for me. And another thing that I bought was like a Icelandic T-shirt of a band called Operatic Organ Quartet, which was I went to the record store that also doubled as their label. And it was just one of those things where I had listened to them on the plane ride over because it was one of the options on Icelandic Air.
Okay.
And then I just was like visiting the record store because that's what I do. And then they had the T-shirt, and I'm like, I'm going to get that. And I got it, and I love the album. And
that's so cool.
Yeah. Ultimately, ended up finally seeing them live years later, too. So it was like just one of those cool things. And unfortunately, I'm too fat for both those T-shirts now. But I refuse to give them up.
Well, no.
Because, they're still like awesome impulse buys that I bought over there.
Well, you can put them up in like one of those frames that's a little thick and just put it up in your wall.
There you go.
And do like T-shirts of the world.
Yes, because I'm too thick. So I got to put that.
Okay, I didn't say that. Anyway, all right.
You probably think I have gout.
It's all the beer you drink. Cider.
Yes.
Whatever. Should we pick a topic? Do we at least have time to do that?
Yeah, let's do that.
Uh-oh. You made a face.
Video games.
Oh. All right. What video games do you play?
I don't play any right now, but I can look back fondly on the video games that I did play.
Yeah, let's talk about video games. Do we play them? What do they look like? How have they evolved, et cetera, et cetera?
And next week I can talk about the cultural blind spot that I didn't get to talk about this week. I watched a very cool cult movie from the early 2000s that is kind of keeping with spooky season, but I think it transcends that for sure. So
Heathers.
Nope. But I'll tell you more on the next edition of Don't Ask Me to Talk. And happy Halloween, by the way. We're wrapping up spooky season already.
Yeah.
We didn't even get to talk about that. So if we have any Halloween adventures, we could talk about that in the next edition of the show. So everybody, thanks for listening. Have yourself a wonderful week and a wonderful Halloween.
Bye. Boo.
Bye, boo to you.